Moved and been completed. These are the different tables. They don't have more. Thank you. Already got the winner.
I think I'm gonna change this. Lily, do me a favor, Lily. Can you? I'm gonna use this one instead of your dad's phone.
Okay.
Because I think it's freaking out more. And it looks a little bit nicer. Hold it like this, and I'm gonna change the stream setting over there, and then, I'm gonna put you on the mount so you can got it. So just do me a second favor.
Okay.
I switched phones. I didn't like Dr. Red's phone. I didn't like Dr. Red's phone, so I switched it to this phone.
So whose phone is that?
This is the Academy phone.
Okay, cool. So you want to switch it?
Yeah, I was having Lily hold it for me.
Most of us are finished.
So his wouldn't do portrait mode. I mean, landscape, would it?
No.
Most of us are finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can begin.
There you go. And if you want to stick that in that, here.
I'll get back to him.
His dad gets a live stream her dad gets a live stream if he wants, but it's gonna just be here, and then tighten this up, and then pictures now on the power button.
It's got like no sound.
Dude, it keeps hitting the power button.
There you go, and then put the ringer back on.
Okay. That's perfect.
Yep, I think you should be good, Lily.
You good? Yep, you don't even gotta do nothing.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
And then it'll be Lily.
And I'll get it back to
you.
you.
And here's your dad's phone.
You'll find your dad, you can get that back to him.
Okay. And if you want to come back and help out with this, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I can just.
You can exit out of it. Just go to finish.
Oh, sorry.
I see some competitive families.
Finish. There you go. Cool. Tell him I said thank you.
Yeah.
And we can begin returning to our seats, to our tables. First, second, and third.
Oh, you want to get it on now? Oh, you switch phones?
Yep.
Okay.
Your phone want to do the portrait? I mean the landscape.
No.
So.
There's a setting that you have to switch it to. Sorry.
Should I like move it to get the whole? Should I move it? Should I move it to get the whole?
Put your name on it. He's not finished.
There we go.
Perfect.
I just want him to see it.
Keep it right there.
Okay.
So as you can see, you can easily get heavily involved in the activities for team building.
When you're done, and I will take your place.
And it's hard to stop, because there's some of you all still signing and asking for autographs. But the team builder has officially ended. We're going to talk about who came in first, second, and third. And one of the things with Saturday Academy, team building is full participation. Everyone participates in team building. Sometimes it's mental, they're mental activities. Many times we try to have our students up and going. Last week we did electricity, basically just sending electrical shocks through each other, human electrical shocks, no probes here. Picking up a corner, or flipping a corner, and then picking up a bottle. So those are things that we were able to do, and those were water bottles, by the way, that our students were picking up. So the activities are really fun. We have Ninja, which many of our students love. We have NIM, which is paper and pencil. We will have Man, Cage, Tiger, which really becomes very involved. Even musical chairs. We've done musical chairs, but we also have an academy way of musical chairs as well. So many fun opportunities for our students. Now we did have 3 people that finished in the top. There were several still handing them to me, and I just told them we're going with the top. So the finishing in third place, Miss Kim Jones. Let's give her a nice round of applause. Stand up, Kim. No, I did not give her answers. No, she is my wife, but I did not give her anything. In fact, she asked for my autograph, and I told her no. Right? I'll be on the couch. That's all right. Yeah, that's the truth. True story right there. Okay, great job, Kim. And then we have second place, Andy Lau. Where's Andy? There we go. Andy finished in second place. Great job. First place, Tanya Bueno. Let's give it up for Tanya. Excellent job.
Now, Mr. Jones, I know we have first, second, third, but I saw the hardest worker out here on Find Someone Who. I know he beat everybody. Oh, okay, it's not this guy. It's okay. Warren. It's okay, Warren. Get that chair. Have a seat there, buddy. Can you get up there? There you go. Okay. I saw this guy bobbing and weaving through the crowd, pulling coattails. Hey. Okay. What's your name?
Calvin.
How old are you, Calvin?
6.
Wow.
So Calvin, you know, you guys won first, second, third. Calvin won first, second, third by himself. That's what you guys know. If you work very hard, you can get an answer. So Calvin, you did good, buddy. All right? Okay. You had fun? Okay, give me 5. All right, buddy.
Yo, tell Mr. Criswell that's $5 he needs to get you. He's got it in that sports coat.
Okay,
Thank you all once again. We are going to move and transition now into our math demonstrations. As you'll see in your agenda, we have several demonstrations that will be ongoing throughout this morning. And so we're ahead of schedule, which is a rarity for Saturday Academy. So we're going to give this time now to math, and they're led by Miss Nancy Hamill, Mr. Juan. We also have Mr. Franco and Mr. Kramer. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Okay, guys, come on forward.
How's everyone doing today?
Great.
How is everyone doing today?
Great.
There we go. That's better. So my name is Ben Franco again, and I'd just like to say that I was once a part of Saturday Academy. Now I'm a module instructor. I'm a professor. So this program is powerful. Okay, it's very powerful. So we are in charge of the math and physics module, and last semester we did calorimetry, which entails encompasses. We took different foods and burned them, and saw how much energy they transfer to some water, and we measured the temperature change, and we just measured calories, of everyday foods that they eat: Doritos, chicken nuggets, some gummy bears, and what were some other things that we burned? Almonds, bananas. Did we burn bananas? Oh, wait, we did not burn bananas. Okay, we didn't burn bananas. But yeah, so it just shows our students that to be mindful of what they eat, to be mindful of things like that. So Mr. Kramer here will demonstrate our activity for you all.
Okay, so on your guys' tables you should have 2 cards. There should be cards that are colored, that'll be either green and orange, or they'll be green and red. Those will be your English instructions. If you need Hmong or Spanish, those will be on white paper, and they'll be in green or red instructions as well. And so these cards, one of the cards will have a food item, and one of the cards will have an activity on it. This is an activity, again, like Ben said earlier, that your students did earlier last semester, and so they should be able to help you with this. So once you find your food card and your item that has your activity on it, then what your second step is, you're trying to calculate the number of calories that are in one serving of your food item. And there's a hint on your instructions that says that you need to multiply the calories per gram by the number of grams in a serving. And then we have blanks for each of the steps that you're supposed to write your answers. Then your third step is that you're supposed to calculate how many calories are burned per minute performing your activity. Again, we have another hint for you that you're supposed to divide the calories burned by 15 minutes, because each of your activities is designed to be for 15 minutes. And again, there's another blank for your answer. And the last thing that you're supposed to do is calculate how many minutes you would need to perform your activity in order to burn off one serving of your food item. So again, your final hint is that you divide the answer from the second step by your answer in the third step. And then again, there's the last blank for you to write your answer. I'm going to give the mic over to Juan so he can give you the instructions in Spanish.
Buenos días. Nuestro equipo se enfocó este semestre en calcular las calorías que tienen ciertos alimentos. Este semestre experimentamos con dulces, sabritas como Doritos, y también almendras, cacahuates, una variedad de diferentes alimentos. Entonces nuestro propósito era de que los estudiantes tengan una idea de qué tipo de actividad uno tiene que hacer para quemar las calorías cuando consumen ese alimento. Entonces las instrucciones para esta actividad están sobre su mesa. Las instrucciones en inglés están en rojo, y en los papeles blancos están las instrucciones en español y en otro lenguaje que es Hmong. Entonces, una tarjeta tiene un tipo de alimento, ya sea una galleta o un cupcake o algo así, y la otra tarjeta tiene una actividad. Entonces, la tarjeta que tiene el alimento tiene el número de calorías que ese alimento tiene por la porción que está escrita. Y la actividad tiene cuántas calorías usted puede quemar con el tiempo que está escrito en la tarjeta. Como si es caminar, quemas 150 calorías por cada 15 minutos que usted camine. Entonces las instrucciones dicen que tiene que seleccionar una tarjeta roja y una tarjeta verde que tienen los alimentos, y tiene que calcular cuántas calorías usted va a consumir y qué actividad tiene que hacer para quemar esas calorías. Entonces el primer paso, ya que tengan escogida el alimento y la actividad, el segundo paso va a ser que tiene que calcular el número de calorías que tiene una porción de su alimento. Entonces usted va a multiplicar el número de calorías por cada gramo entre el número de gramos que tiene su alimento. Como Miss Helmo acá está atrás en la pantalla, ella tiene un muffin. Ese es su alimento, un muffin. Y la actividad que tiene ella es que va a caminar. Miss Helmo is back here and she has her food item, which is a muffin. And her activity is walking. So our first step is to calculate the number of calories in one serving of that food item. So our food item has 2.53, and then it's 114 of them. So she'll multiply those two numbers, and she's going to give those number of calories per serving. Entonces, en el segundo paso podemos ver que la señora Hamill escogió un muffin y su actividad es de caminar. Entonces, el número de calorías que ella tiene en su alimento son 2.53 y son 114 de ellas, que vienen siendo 288.42 calorías por cada porción. El siguiente paso es de calcular el número de calorías que usted puede quemar con esta actividad. Y para hacer esto usted tiene que dividir las calorías por incremento de 15 minutos. Y todas sus tarjetas tienen 15 minutos. Todas las actividades son por cada segmento de 15 minutos. So you will calculate the number of calories that you are burning per minute performing your activity. Your activity is in increments of 15 minutes. So for Ms. Hamill, she has 137 calories that are burned for every 15 minutes. So if she divided by 15, she's going to get 9.13 calories per minute. So for every minute that she's walking, she's going to burn about 9 calories. Entonces, usted va a calcular las calorías que tiene por cada minuto que está, por cada 15 minutos que está escrito en su tarjeta, y tenemos que calcularlo por minuto. Entonces, usted toma el número de calorías por cada 15 minutos y lo divide por 15, le va a dar las calorías por minuto. Entonces, Ms. Hamill acá tuvo sus calorías de 137 calorías por cada 15 minutos, lo dividió por 15 y le salió 9.13 calorías por minuto. Then the last step is to calculate how many minutes you will need to perform your activity to burn off one serving of your food item. You will do this by dividing your value on number 2 by your answer or number 3. So Ms. Hamill here, she had 288.42 divided by 9.13, and she got the answer of 30.6 minutes. So she's going to have to walk 30.6 minutes just to burn one portion of her muffin, one serving. Entonces el último paso es de calcular por cuántos minutos usted va a tener que performar esta actividad para quemar las calorías que tiene una porción de su alimento. En el ejemplo aquí de Ms. Hamill, ella escogió un muffin y ella va a tener que caminar 30.6 minutos para poder quemar las calorías que consumió en ese muffin de una porción. Entonces, para hacer este paso, usted va a tomar su número que consiguió en el número 2 y lo divide por el número 3. Entonces, el número 2 era 288 y el 3 era 913. Divide esos dos números y le da la cantidad de minutos que tiene que hacer para quemar esa caloría por esa actividad. So students, if you guys remember this activity from last semester, please help around your table. It's going to be really beneficial. And explain to them more of the activities that we've done in our module and what kind of experiments we've done and what kind of calculations you guys did, because this is high-end calculations.
twice? No, I did not. I texted it this morning. I put it on Facebook. I was on it. I was on it. This is really difficult for me because Gaga was about to her birthday. She reminded me of her birthday. And she's not here now. Yeah, but it doesn't have my kids.
I've got the only one that is on Facebook is me.
You. I have it. Okay.
Does anyone have any questions? Preguntas? Huh? Is anyone done? Yeah? Okay. Anybody would like to share their answers? Huh? He would like to share his answer? What was your activity?
Take him up there to it. This one right here. Here, take this up there.
Oh, he's coming over here. There you go. What's her name?
Dakota.
Dakota, what was your activity?
Walking on the treadmill.
So he was walking on the treadmill for how many calories are you going to be burning in every 15 minutes?
137.
That's for 15 minutes. Alright, and what was your item?
A large apple.
Oh, that's healthy. You had an apple. Alright, so, and then your results, you're going to have to walk for how many minutes?
10.9.
10.9 minutes. That's not bad. Can you walk for 10.9 minutes? Alright, if you run, you'll burn faster, right? Alright, so he had a large apple, and it's going to take him 10.9 minutes to walk on a treadmill to burn that apple. At least it's healthy, right? There you go. Thank you. Oh, you have one too? I need you to translate this. What does it say?
Okay.
There you go. So it took him 10 minutes to write an essay. And what did you eat today? He ate good.
I'm going to plug this in so it doesn't run out of battery.
There you go, thank you.
You want me to just hold that then?
If you would, please.
Anybody else would like to share?
The charging.
Bueller?
Yes.
Anyone?
Perfect. Hold on, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any more answers? I'll call on people.
Logan, you want to do it?
I know y'all got answers. Everybody did this.
Okay, yours.
Someone wants to share over there?
I see some hands. I see some hands. Here we go.
Come on.
For 25 minutes. 25 minutes. Okay. I think that's reasonable.
Here he comes. Are you nervous? You should be. I'm not that scary. Let me see, what did you get? Oh, what was your item?
Let me get chocolate.
Ooh, chocolate. And what did you have to do?
Swimming.
Swimming. Okay. So let's see this. So you have 270 calories per serving. Is that a lot or that's not a lot?
A lot.
That is a lot. All right, and then you have to burn only 6.8 calories per minute of swimming. So do you have to swim a lot or you don't have to swim a lot?
I don't have to do that.
Well, it says that you have to swim for 39.5 minutes just to burn one serving. So is 40 minutes a lot?
Yes.
So you have to swim a lot, right? But at least the chocolate was worth it.
Yes.
There you go. Thank you. All right, so that was just like a little brief, simple introduction to what we are calculating. We actually go beyond that and talk about brand names and off-brands and calculate standard deviation in terms of marketing and how does that affect our point of view when we decide to consume these items. Not that you shouldn't consume them, but just be aware of what you're intaking and what you have to do to put the output of those calories. Do you guys have any questions for us?
13 minutes.
Everything's good? All right, well, that's our math physics module for this semester. Thank you.
All right, let's give the math and physics folks one more round of applause, guys. Good job. Okay. One of the good things that I like about Academy is that, you know, just as a math teacher coming in, there's a lot of integration of content that we see. You know, I still remember the first meeting I came to, being a part of Marshall's programs. You know, I was there as a math teacher, but there were medical students there were engineers, there were public health people, and I'm just hearing all these conversations, and I'm like, man, can I survive in this? You know? And, you know, just over the years, you know, everything started to make sense. And this is what it's all about, you know, as far as bringing contents together and showing kids how, you know, literacy connects to math, connects to science, connects to careers. So, you know, definitely good experience here. So, all right. On your agenda there, I know it says poetry next, but we're actually going to come back to that a little bit later, and we're going to go to our nutrition section. So, we have a high energy group here with our nutrition. So let's give it up for our nutrition group.
Good morning, everyone. Perfect. I love to hear it. So welcome, parents. So we are the nutrition module. So let's introduce ourselves. So my name is Miss Cynthia. I am one of the instructors of the nutrition module. So it's been a privilege having to work with your students throughout this year. They're very bright. We have had many wonderful experiences with them. But before we go ahead any further, I want to introduce the rest of my team. So I have Mr. Curtis Smart.
Hello, as you stated, I'm Curtis Smart. I also work with the students. I attended the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, where I received my Bachelor's of Science in Biology. And I'm currently working on my MPH at KU Medical Center, where I do breast cancer research in their pathology lab.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica Rodas. I'm also one of the instructors. It's been a pleasure working with the kids. We're so excited. Buenos días, mi nombre es Jessica. Yo soy una de las instructoras de nutrición en este grupo y ha sido un placer de estar con sus estudiantes.
They're the dream team, you guys. Okay, so today, just to give you a little bit of an overview about what your students have experienced with us through our nutrition module. If you've spoken with them last semester, they'll let you know that they actually got to go on a field trip. The premise of our module is that we want our students to experience what it means to live a healthy lifestyle and whether or not that is an affordable goal. We took the students to two very different grocery stores in the Mission, Kansas area. We took them to Hy-Vee and Natural Grocers so that they could experience the difference between a traditional grocery store and a natural organic. They also got to experience the cycle of the farm to fork. So actually here you have the images of what the students saw on the day of the field trip. So this is a virtual reality camera that the students used. So you are actually able to see in many ways what they saw that very same day. So they also got to experience a sweet potato workshop with our organic farmer, Mr. Mark Manning. He works with the different organic gardens in our school district. So the students had to have that phenomenal experience about what the process is of growing your own organic food and how that's a feasible way of having a healthy lifestyle. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Jessica because she's translating and I gave her a whole lot to translate right now.
Alright, so como la clase de nutrición, cuando hablamos de nutrición siempre hablamos de las calorías, información, todo eso. Prácticamente lo que hicimos el primer semestre con los estudiantes es llevarlos a las tiendas. Haciendo eso como consumidores, nosotros vamos comprando, todos sabemos, a veces vamos a 10 diferentes tiendas buscando los precios mejores en lo que compramos. Entonces lo que les enseñaron en el televisor temprano es los estudiantes usando una cámara virtual en cuales podrían ver todo lo que los estudiantes andaban viendo. En las tiendas fuimos a Natural Grocers y Hy-Vee, son dos tiendas diferentes y también hicieron ellos un proyecto con el señor Mark Manning donde aprendieron acerca de las sweet potatoes. Y entonces este semestre les dimos las vueltas a las cosas y prácticamente ya tuvieron esa experiencia que normalmente tenemos de comprar comida como consumidores. Hoy, este semestre, los estudiantes están haciendo su propio negocio, entendiendo la comida en el aspecto de cómo es que la comida llega a nuestros supermercados, cómo es que hacen las decisiones a dónde van a construir todos los negocios en los diferentes lugares. Entonces hoy vamos a hacer el ejercicio similar de lo que estamos haciendo con los estudiantes.
Okay, so that was first semester. So this semester, we are actually flipping everything around. So now our students were able to see the consumer side of what produce is available at the grocery stores, and they were able to learn about supply, how the process of how our food gets to where, before we purchase it and bring it to our homes. So this semester, we actually turned our students into business owners. So they all are now taking all the tools that they learned that first semester, and now they're creating their very own business plan to create a grocery store in a given area that we gave them for options. So today we want to give you an insider of what that actually looks like. So all of you on your table have a handout that looks a lot like, oh perfect, so it looks like this. So there are 3 different languages, so we have one in Hmong, Spanish, and English, so all of you should be able to participate. Now, we do have to give a full disclosure. These numbers that you're about to see on our worksheet today, these are just estimates. They are not factual numbers. We just wanted to give an idea to the students of what the cost is in a given area and for a particular supply. So don't use these as a reference to try to create your very own grocery store. Okay, so the first thing, so the way that we started with the way that we presented it to our students is they have all, them and a partner have all received $1 million.
Ok, so enfrente de ustedes van a encontrar una página que se ve similar a la que ven en las pantallas. Tenemos en inglés, español y Hmong. Entonces, al principio lo que van a hacer es nombrar su negocio, el nombre que le quieran poner. Y prácticamente la manera que le hicimos con los estudiantes es que nosotros les dimos $1 millón y nos gustaría darles regalo, pero son $1 millón ricosos. Entonces, en la primera, queremos decir nomás que todos los números que van a ver hoy durante este ejercicio son aproximaciones, no son actuales los números.
Okay, so the very first thing, we have to name your business. So go ahead as a family or individually, go ahead and take your worksheet and go ahead and start answering those questions. So the very first one is we want you guys to name your business. So we'll give you a couple of minutes for you to address that and then we'll bring it back into the group.
Feel free to name your business, whatever you really want to. During this portion of our teaching, we let the students have a wide range of names. I remember one student named his business as Broke Brothers Incorporated. So you can name your business whatever you want to name it. Alright, so what is one can we have somebody stand up and say what they name their business?
Anybody want to share? Who wants to share the name of their business? Yeah, here we go.
All-Star Groceries.
You said All-Star Groceries?
Okay, we've got All-Star Groceries over here. There you go. Okay, who else? Who else? Who else would like to share the name of their business? Yeah.
How about Three Brothers?
Anybody want to share the name of their business? Yes.
KC Grocery Store.
KC Grocery Store. There we go. Homegrown.
Three Brother Grocery.
Three Brothers? Three Brothers Grocery Store.
What? Just, yeah. You too. You're a nut boy. You're a nut boy.
CC&Q Grocery Store.
Los Pedorros. Twin Brother Grocery Market.
Twin Brothers Grocery Market. You guys are awesome. Okay, so perfect. So it sounds like a lot of you already have your grocery stores. So we're just gonna go ahead and move on to the next step. So on that, the very next square, so we have what type of grocery store would you choose to open? Now this is actually something that we explored with the students because there's actually more, there's different types of grocery stores. So I'm actually going to put the students here on the spot. Do any of our students remember what different type of grocery stores or what type of stores there are out there? Anybody want to give it a try? Yeah.
Organic.
Okay, organic. Yes, that's definitely a type of store.
So like hypermarket?
Kill us.
Okay, so there's actually 4 different types of markets. So if you actually look on your sheet there, so we have our supermarkets. So an example of that would be an example of Hy-Vee. A Hy-Vee would be an example of a supermarket. A traditional grocery store, that would be like your Aldi's or your Save-A-Lots. We have a hypermarket, so that's a Walmart, right? So if you guys think about Walmart, you can find a number of different things other than just food, right? You can find auto, home goods. So they have very different departments, whereas if you go to your Aldi, you're not going to have those distinct departments. So those are some of the differences. And then you have your non-traditional stores. So we're talking about convenience stores or ethnic stores. Those would be like your non-traditionals. Okay, so at this point, you're actually going to select only one option. And now here's the thing. Once you select one, you're going to stick with that same plan throughout all of your decisions. So if you want to go ahead and create a supermarket or a grocery store or a hypermarket, whichever one you choose, you're going to make decisions based on that initial selection.
Ok, entonces debajo del número 2 van a ver que hay 4 opciones de mercados. So, prácticamente cuando uno va a comprar la comida para uno, todas las tiendas son similares. En realidad hay 4 diferentes tipos de tiendas. La primera es el supermercado. Estas son las tiendas que uno va a comprar como el Price Chopper, Hy-Vee. Estas son las tiendas que tienen diferentes departamentos adentro de eso. Si ustedes entran van a ver que hay un departamento para todo lo que es las carnes, donde hacen el pan, etcétera. Otro tipo de tienda es una tienda de comestibles. Estas son las tiendas más pequeñas que no tienen departamentos. Por ejemplo, un Aldi, un Save-A-Lot. Si ustedes entran a un Aldi, entran y toda la comida está ahí. Hay diferentes departamentos que distinguen cada uno. Otro tipo de tienda es un supermercado. Estas son las tiendas grandes. Estamos hablando como un Sam's, un Costco, Walmart, Target, que no solo venden comida, pero también venden otras cosas. Uno entra ahí y compra ropa, maquillaje, comida y todo. Y el último tipo de tienda que existen son las tiendas que no son tradicionales. Estamos hablando, por ejemplo, de una tienda de conveniencia, una tienda de cultural. También las tiendas de culturales pueden ser tiendas de comestibles. Estamos hablando también de una farmacia. Entonces, debajo de la número 2, ustedes van a seleccionar qué tipo de tienda quieren hacer. ¿Quieren hacer un supermercado? ¿Quieren hacer un hipermercado? Entonces, le vamos a dar unos minutos para que decidan eso y después vamos a continuar.
Okay, you guys, so now at this point you should have made your selection of what type of store you're going to choose. So now we need to look at location, right? Location. Yes. Okay, so there's actually 2 sheets that you both should have access to. So you should have this worksheet before you, and then there's this other one where you're actually going to put the cost. So we're going to tally all the different costs and we're going to add it at the end to see whether or not we made or if we lost money. So your decision here in this third box, you're going to your second box, depending on what grocery store you chose, there's going to be a cost associated with it. So if you chose a supermarket, it's going to cost $800,000, right? If you chose a grocery store, it's going to be $600,000. Or a hypermarket, it's going to be $1 million. Or your non-traditional, it's $50,000. So this is the cost of your initial.
Ok, entonces el costo, el número que esté a la par de ese tipo de tienda que va a construir, ese número lo va a poner debajo de donde dice Startup. Este es el dinero que necesita usted para poder empezar a hacer su negocio. Entonces lo van a poner en la primera línea, debajo de donde dice calcule sus costos, donde dice Startup.
Okay. So now that we put our startup cost in that first column, now we're going to look at our location. So location, right? So for this, depending on what location you choose, also is going to have an associated cost. So the students had 4 different regions between both Wyandotte County and Johnson County. So the students wanted to create a store in West Wyandotte County. So we're talking basically this area west towards the Legends. That cost is going to be $5 million. Okay. If you want East Wyandotte County, so we're talking downtown KCK, Quindaro, Argentine, all of those areas, that's going to be your East Wyandotte County. The cost is $12 million. Now if we want North Johnson County, the cost is $10 million. Or if you choose South Johnson County, it would be $7 million. So at this time, go ahead and make your choice as to what you want, and then depending on what you choose, you're going to put that cost right over here next to the location, again on that second sheet.
Ok, so ya le pusimos el nombre a nuestro negocio, a la tienda. Hemos escogido qué tipo de negocio queremos hacer. Hoy es a dónde vamos a poner nuestra tienda. Entonces tenemos ahí el número 3, 4 diferentes opciones. El primero es el oeste de Wyandotte County, so ahí estamos hablando de aquí, el área del colegio comunitario tirado hasta los Legends y para abajo. El este de Wyandotte County, que estamos hablando ya yéndonos para Missouri y todo lo de la Argentina, todo eso es el este de Wyandotte County. Si queremos hacer el norte de Johnson County, estamos hablando allá por la Row, donde está el Price Chopper, toda esa área de allá, o si queremos irnos más al sur, que es ya tirándolo ya más al campo. Entonces, escojan en qué lugar quieren poner su tienda y ese número lo van a poner debajo donde está la ubicación, que sería en el segundo espacio que está acá.
So now that you've chosen your location, now the other things that you need to consider are what are your suppliers going to be, And then also your labor, right? So you're going to get that supply, but you also need someone to help you man the store, unless you're working by yourself, which is not very feasible, right? You still have to pay someone, even if it's your family helping you, right? So the fourth and the fifth box, so that's where you're choosing your supply, and then you're also, depending on your selection, right, what store you chose at the very beginning, that's going to influence your decision of how much it's going to cost to have that labor and that pricing, okay? And then our sixth box, so I'm just moving along here. You're gonna look, so how will your store handle food waste? So that's actually a really big component that we wanted to focus on, because the other modules such as bioethics really wanted to focus on that as well. The concept of food waste and how can we make sure that we're finding a more sustainable way to make sure that we're feeding our people and then also preserving our planet. So the students had to look from a business lens as to why those decisions are made. So,
also, the students were learning more about food waste because a lot of the grocery stores that they go to, they see a lot of them throwing away the food, and they don't understand, well, why don't they donate it or give it to someone else? And they don't realize that sometimes it costs money to do that. So we were also trying to let the students look at both sides to the store from a consumer standpoint and a distributor standpoint. Also, this module also helps the students identify that they can eat healthy in their community and the importance of having a good grocery store that's close to you.
So now, on that very first page, so you should have already made, here, let me translate actually. Ok, so voy a traducir rapidito. So ahorita, son las últimas cajas, ahorita ustedes también van a estar tomando decisiones en términos de la ubicación y también de dónde vamos a obtener nuestros materiales, ¿verdad? Dependiendo en qué tipo de mercado utilizamos, eso va a depender la mano de obra. Porque acuérdense, ¿verdad? Es un negocio, tenemos que pagarle a alguien, aunque sean nuestros familiares, ¿verdad? Tenemos que pagar por la mano de obra. So dependiendo qué tipo de negocio ustedes escogieron, el cuadro número 5 les va a decir cuánto les va a costar por la mano de obra para ese tipo de tienda que escogieron. Otra cosa que nosotros nos concentramos este año fue el desperdicio de comida, porque otros programas están trabajando en eso. Queremos tratar de reducir el desperdicio de comida, no solamente para asegurarnos de que estamos dándole alimentos a las demás personas, pero también para tratar de mantener y preservar nuestro planeta, porque es mucho desperdicio de comida que hacen en las industrias. Pero también queremos hacer entender a los estudiantes qué tipo de decisiones se involucran en términos de negocios para el desperdicio de comida. So, dependiendo si quieren tirar la comida o donarla o venderla a precios descontados, esas son decisiones que ustedes pueden tomar y pueden escoger más de una opción en esa caja.
Ok, so ya que han tenido la conversación de qué tipo de guía quieren usar para traer la comida a las tiendas, el número 4, ese número van a escoger uno y ese número lo van a poner aquí debajo donde dice son suppliers. Va a poner ese número del número 4 donde han escogido. Voy a dar un momento. So donde dice suppliers, debajo del número 5, donde dependiendo la decisión que tomaron en la número 2 o dependiendo del tipo de tienda que abrieron, así va a ser los costos del personal que necesitan para poder mantener la tienda. So, el número que les pertenece a su tienda, ese número lo van a poner debajo del trabajo. So ese número lo va a poner, you're going to put it under labor for number 5. So under 5, depending on the store that you opened, you're going to put that number right where it says labor. So van a poner ese número debajo de labor. And then for 6, depending on what you chose and how you're going to handle food waste at your store, you're going to put those numbers under food waste. So dependiendo cómo van a manejar el desperdicio de la comida, ese número lo van a poner ahí debajo de donde dice desperdicio en su papel. Alright, so to go back, so we're still on the sheet for the cost breakdown. So under your supplier, so number 4, the price that you choose, the type of supplier that you choose to bring the food to your store, you're going to put that under supplier. Alright, so el proveedor, ahí va a poner el número, es el que le va a traer la comida a las tiendas. Now, depending on the selection you made under number 2, so if you opened a supermarket, for example, if you're going under number 5, you're going to pick the selection or the labor costs that would be associated with the type of store that you picked. So that number from number 5, you're going to put it under labor under your worksheet. So dependiendo del tipo de tienda que abrieron, en la número 2, van a seleccionar el número de labor en la caja del número 5 y ese número lo van a poner debajo del labor. Ok, ya que han hecho eso debajo de la número 6, dependiendo cómo van a manejar el desperdicio de comida, ese número de la caja número 6 lo van a poner debajo del desperdicio. Right? So depending how you're handling your food waste at the store you chose, under box number 6, when you make your selection, put that number under food waste.
Alright, so based on your selections, if you chose a supermarket store, you should have earned $4 million. If you chose a grocery store, you earned $3 million. If you chose a hypermarket, you earned $5 million. And if you were a non-traditional store, you earned $1 million. So, how did the majority of everyone do? Did you all lose money?
Ok, entonces hoy llegamos a la parte donde vamos a ver cuánto dinero estamos haciendo en un año. Entonces, dependiendo de la tienda, si ven en esa página que tienen ahí donde dice ingresos anuales, ahí van a ver cuánto ganarían en un año por el tipo de tienda que ha hecho. So, now it's the fun part, we get to figure out how much money we're making in a year. So if you look on the back of that sheet, you're going to see a yearly income, and based on the type of the store that you opened, these are the numbers that would be of how much you're making for 1 year. So that number, you're going to put it under the 3rd column. And you're going to put that under gains. So that's the money that's coming in. So ese número el ingreso que está haciendo en un año, ese lo va a poner en la tercera línea arriba, donde dice ganancias. Porque ese es el dinero que están ganando en un año. So, estos números que ven aquí, de acuerdo a su tienda, son los números que van a poner debajo de donde dice ganancia. So, your yearly income based on the store that you open, those numbers are going to go under gains on that 3rd column at the top. Because that's how much money you get to make in a year. Yeah, and you'll have to stick to the store that you chose. So if you chose a supermarket, you're earning about $4 million a year. If it's a grocery store, about $3 million. Hypermarket, $5 million. And in a non-traditional store, about $1 million. Okay. So si han abierto un supermercado, están ganando como $4 millones. Si es una tienda de combustibles, $3 millones. Un hipermarket, son $5 millones. Y una tienda que no es tradicional va a ser como $1 millón. So ese número lo va a poner en el tercero.
So we started, we made what we started.
Ok, entonces ya sabemos cuántos son los gastos, ya sabemos qué es lo que está entrando. Entonces, en la primera, debajo de fondos, van a poner $1 millón porque es el dinero que le estamos dando. Okay, so now that we know all of our costs and we know how much we're spending, we're going to start to calculate our costs to see how we did in 1 year of having our store open. So on our first column, we're going to total up our startup price and our locations prices, and we're going to put that total there. So vamos a empezar a hacer las matemáticas, a ver cuánto es que hicimos en un año. Entonces lo que van a hacer es en la primera línea, los costos de startup y la ubicación, esos números los va a poner aquí donde dice total. So you're going to add up the startup and location prices, and you're going to put that under total. Okay. And then because we gave you $1 million, you're going to subtract that from your total. And that number is going to go down below. Entonces, ya que tienen su total, nosotros les dimos $1 millón de fondos. Entonces ese número lo va a poner ahí y va a quitar el millón del total y lo va a poner abajo. Okay. Okay. And then when we get to our final total, we're going to divide that by 10 because if you'll notice, as you do the math, you'll go over $1 million. And a lot of times when you're starting a business, a part of that is a long-term investment. So you have to pay that money back to a bank. And usually the loan amount for a bank is about 10 years for a business. So we're going to divide that by 10 to figure out how much we have to pay back to the bank in 1 year. So prácticamente, si ven cuando hacen los cálculos, han gastado más de $1 millón que nosotros les dimos. Entonces, ese dinero lo tienen que prestar en un banco, entonces hay que regresarlo al banco, no solo lo regalan. Entonces, eso lo vamos a dividir por 10, porque son los 10 años, y ese resultado lo vamos a poner abajo donde dice anual, porque es lo que le estamos dando de regreso al banco en un año. Y ese cálculo lo vamos a poner aquí arriba en la segunda parte. So that total yearly amount, you're going to put that under bank in the second column. Alright, and then you're going to just add the whole third column for your total. So en la segunda parte van a sumar todas las partes ahí porque son más costos que tenemos que gastar en el año. Y después al total, ese número lo vamos a quitar de lo que es el ingreso del año para ver el total final de lo que estamos haciendo que podemos llevar a la casa. So essentially on our second column, we're adding all those numbers up. You know, our suppliers, our labor, our food waste, what we're paying back to the bank for the total that we get to subtract from what our gains are per year. And that final total is what we get to take home. So as you calculate through that, we're just going to go back and give some more background information on kind of what weird discussions that we had with the students.
So did the majority of people make money or lose money? Raise your hand if you made money. Wow, I see a table full of money over there. Raise your hand if you lost money. What do you think caused you to lose money? What sent you flying into debt? Location? Yeah. That's cool. So as you can kind of tell, she said she got sent into debt because she put her store in East Wyandotte County. And what we're trying to show the students is that we're trying to show that sometimes the population can't support what the grocery stores are trying to bring to your neighborhood. So that's why you have to travel all the way to Walmart to get good groceries. Because we probably can't support a grocery store in Wyandotte County right now. Probably really soon we'll have one, but it was amazing to me that we told the students about, going to Walmart to get groceries, and they said, that's okay. They felt like that was normal. It shouldn't be normal. You should have a grocery store within a 10-mile radius of your house. That's normal. And we're trying to show the students that some things need to change, and they can be the change. A lot of people don't believe in the millennials, but we do. And we have some of the brightest students. I love this program because I was a part of this program as a child, and I'm where I'm at because of this program. And I feel like these students will be our future leaders, our future school board members, our future governing officers, and I feel like things like this will help them understand the real issue. So that's what we were trying to do. Thank you.
Para traducir, ahorita preguntamos, una vez de que hicieron todas sus calculaciones, queremos saber cuántos de ustedes ganaron o cuántos perdieron. Y aquí tuvimos una persona que dijo que ella perdió dinero debido a la ubicación donde estuvo su tienda, que fue al este de Wyandotte County. Esa fue una conversación que nosotros tuvimos con nuestros estudiantes. Porque muchas veces decimos, hey, pues para comer, para agarrar comida nutritiva, que no sea tan cara, tenemos que ir hasta la Walmart para ir, y ellos piensan que eso es normal, pero la verdad es que eso no es normal. No es normal de que uno tiene que ir más de 10 millas para encontrar comida saludable que sea que uno pueda comprar para nuestras familias. Eso es algo que nosotros realmente queremos engranar en las mentes de nuestros estudiantes. Como dijo el señor Mr. Curtis, sus estudiantes son tremendos, son sumamente inteligentes, hacen excelentes preguntas, están dedicados y es un excelente programa. Nos da un placer trabajar con sus estudiantes cada semana porque ellos son el futuro. Ellos tienen la capacidad para crear cambio no solamente en nuestras comunidades, pero también en nuestro estado. No sé si ustedes están enterados, ahorita hay un proyecto para crear un supermercado en el área donde está el Big 11 Lake, entre la 11 y la Minnesota. Ese es un proyecto que están tratando de hacer para tratar de traer un jardín orgánico para que las personas puedan agarrar productos naturales, para que haya un nuevo gimnasio, para que tengamos familias sanas y para tener un supermercado para traer productos que la gente pueda comprar y pueda llevar a sus familias. Esta es información que nosotros tenemos con los estudiantes en esta conversación que tenemos y queremos extendernos a los padres de familia porque ustedes también son parte de esa conversación como personas de esta comunidad. Yes, so Mr. Curtis mentioned, sorry, I'm just switching gears everywhere. So Mr. Curtis Smart mentioned that there is a possibility of having a grocery store, and you guys, that change is coming faster than you think. The KCK Healthy Campus, who are my students? Who remembers KCK Health Campus? Anybody here of KCK Health Campus? There you go, Miss Tammy, there you go, way to represent. So yes, so this is a project that has been in the making for years, and the Unified Government has just bought the property as of last year to start that process. So that area of the Big 11 Lake, of 11th Street of Minnesota and State, they're trying to revamp that area so that there is a state-of-the-art YMCA, green spaces, a grocery store, a farmer's market. So all of these concepts that we're talking with your student in the classroom, it's not just a theoretical. This is a very hands-on, has a very real effect to our community, and we not only want to share that with our students because they are the change, but we also want to extend that to you as parents, as active community members, because this is something that everybody should be aware of, because this is change in the making here in our community that we can make. So thank you so much. We absolutely love working with your students. It's a pleasure to work with them every single week. They're absolutely bright. I have no doubt that they are the future, not for our community, but for our state and for this nation. And I just want to congratulate you for bringing such fine students to our program every single week. So thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoyed our module today. Have a good day, and I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Criswell.
Good job. Give the nutrition folks a big hand, guys. Good job. All right. A couple things we're going to do before we get to our final component with Mr. Glenn and poetry. Number one, I'm looking at the tables, and I see a lot of work, which is good. Okay, we got papers everywhere, and everybody, food. We did that, and but I want to see a little bit organized so that we can feel a little more at ease. So papers that you've used, you can go ahead and collect them and put them in a pile. And what I'd like you to do is to take out these two papers that I'm holding up, because these are the final two pieces of the puzzle for today that we're going to be dealing with. Okay. So appreciate you guys chipping in. Again, I hope the breakfast I made was great. Okay, I need those tins back, so don't take those home with you. Okay, I use them at home. Y'all laughing? I'm serious. Okay. All right. Okay. As you guys are finishing your little cleanup there, Miss Cynthia is going to talk about this opportunity here at the community college for this piece of paper I'm holding up. So. Ms. Cynthia, if you could go ahead and tell them about it.
So hello. So aside from being an instructor here at Saturday Academy, I am also an instructor for the Spanish GED program that is offered here at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. So I am going to go ahead and make an announcement that for those of you, if you know of anyone that is interested in the Spanish GED program, classes begin this Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So if you know of anyone, please do extend that information to them, because not only we believe in, we see education as a vessel to improve our quality of life, but also the quality of life of our community. So please do pass this on if you know of anyone. So un anuncio, aparte de ser una instructora aquí para el programa de Saturday Academy, también soy una maestra de GED en español, que es el programa otorgado aquí en Kansas City, Kansas Community College. So solamente queremos hacer un anuncio que las clases, si están interesados en el programa, las clases comienzan este martes a partir de las 6 de la noche. So aquí está esta información. Si conocen a alguien de que pueda beneficiar de esta información, por favor pásenla. Las clases comienzan este martes. Son 10 semanas, o si gustan más información, todo esto está aquí en este volante, o si gustan hablar conmigo, esa información también está disponible, porque obviamente nosotros realmente creemos en la educación, de que es un vehículo no solamente para nuestros estudiantes, para mejorar nuestra calidad de vida, pero también para mejorar la calidad de vida de nuestras comunidades. ¿Okay? Muchas gracias. Si tienen preguntas pueden hacerlo. Gracias.
All right, thank you, Miss Cynthia. All right, we get all of our tables nice and neat there? Okay, very good, very good. You also need something to write with, and then it's also going to be very important that all your energies are here toward the center. Mr. Glenn is going to come to us here and provide us some quality information with poetry, so it's going to be very important for you guys to listen in and hear what he has to say, because you guys are going to be doing some poetry writing of your own here. So please make sure you do have this piece of paper here ready. Okay, it has the little green tree, people tree, at the top of the paper there, and you have something to write with. All right. So just kind of have a side advertisement here. For those high school students, I know coming up, I believe in March, I know Ms. Marcia starts to pass out information regarding our summer programs. Typically, we have 2 different summer programs connected to Academy. One's a residential at KU, and then another is here in town at KU Med. So depending on how funding goes, you know, both programs will exist, or we'll combine them into one. So high school students, be on the lookout for that if that's something that you're interested in being a part of. All right. We don't really have anything for middle school in the summer at this point, but you know that could be something that's going to grow. So, okay, I think Mr. Glenn is ready. So, give me a big round of applause for our residential poet, Mr. Glenn North.
So good morning. Good morning to everyone in Overflow. It is such an honor to be here today. I just want to echo what everyone before me has said. It is an amazing opportunity that I have to work with your very talented students on the Saturdays that I have an opportunity to do these poetry sessions with them. Along with being a poetry instructor, I am also the Director of Education and Public Programs of the Black Archives of Mid-America, which is located on the Missouri in the 18th and Vine Historic District. And so I wanted to this year try to connect what I do at the archives with what happens here at Saturday Academy. One of the things that we have done is put together a website that highlights the contributions of African Americans in both Kansas and Missouri. And we take just a minute at the top of each poetry session to have a brief moment from the Black Archives. So for instance, on the slide that you're witnessing now, there's a reference to the Battle of Island Mound. So during the Civil War, initially black soldiers were not allowed to fight. But there were a group of freed slaves who formed what was known as the 1st Kansas Colored Infantry. And there were 200 of them that managed to acquire weapons and do training because they wanted to be engaged in battle because they wanted to fight for their freedom. And even though it had not been legalized and sanctioned yet, they were preparing for the day when they would be able to join the effort to free the slaves. And so ultimately in October of 1862, this regiment of 200 African-American soldiers came into contact with a battalion of 600 Confederate soldiers, and they won. Word got back to President Lincoln that these soldiers had fought valiantly, and the following year he passed the Military Act that allowed African-American soldiers to fight in the Civil War. That took place in Bates County, Missouri, on the border between Kansas and Missouri. But that was the first time that African Americans ever engaged in battle during the Civil War, and it happened right here in this part of the country. So we talk about things like that at the top of each poetry session. So thank you for listening. Battle of Island Mound, if you Google it, you can learn so much more. And then the link here is kansascityblackhistory.org, and you can learn more about other outstanding African Americans and their contributions to this community. So I'm sorry about this mic. It's something about my voice that this mic just does not like, and I don't know why that is, so bear with me. But you would need the handout that has the family tree. It's kind of a yellow greenish, and it's got some blanks on it. So over the course of each semester, we do several different poetry lessons. I've introduced the students to some university level concepts in poetry, and they always respond by doing a great job. One of the things that we talk about a lot is social justice. Your students are very aware and very interested in terms of what's happening in our country, in our communities, and globally as it pertains to politics and race relations and inclusivity. They are always willing to participate in some very difficult conversations about how things are unfolding in our country even as we speak. But we also do some things that are fun, and today what we're going to do is what's called a family portrait poem. And so each Saturday I try to provide an example or some kind of template so that the students have an opportunity to write poems in a very short amount of time. Usually our sessions last an hour, so to ask someone to write a poem, and by the time we go through the Black Archives Minute and we talk about the actual lesson that applies to that particular aspect of poetry, they generally have about maybe 10-15 minutes to actually write. And they crank these poems out like poetry factories. It's always amazing. And so they're going to probably be really good assistants in kind of helping you work through this process. All I ask is, even if you're not interested in poetry, if poetry's not your thing, that you just give it a shot. That's all I ask every Saturday. Just buy into the creative process to work that different side of your brain. And generally, we come up with some amazing results. So if you have your handout, really quickly, and I do want to point out, when we talk about family portraits, this is a portrait of my family. My grandmother's right there in the middle. She's the third one from my left. And right behind her is my Uncle Silas. And she told me that he actually rode with the outlaw Jesse James, if any of you have ever heard of them. But this picture was taken in Hartville, Missouri, which is where my grandparents, my great-grandparents moved there from Tennessee after slavery had ended, and they settled in Hartville, Missouri, and eventually my grandparents moved to Kansas City, Missouri. So this portrait of my family will hopefully give you a little bit of inspiration as you're working through this handout. So if you look at the handout, basically these are sentence stems that will help you form a poetry, and you just have to fill in the blanks. So for instance, the first blank says, "We are from," and right under it, it says, "Describe some part of your house." The second blank says "from," and then you can describe different items in your house. These images help to create a poem that has some visual imagery when you're going through the process. We are from, and you can describe a sensory detail from your home. One of the things I always explain is that sensory details, like something you can taste, something you can smell, something that you can hear. When you use sensory language in the poem, that helps the poem come alive. And as you go down, each blank has a little parenthetical statement that gives you an idea of what to fill in that blank. So this is a guidepost. If as you're working at your tables, you come up with other ideas of things that you want to include, feel free to do that. If as you're working through the poem, there are certain blanks that you want to skip that don't fit, you can do that. And as you move down the handout, sooner or later, you will have what I'm sure will be an amazing poem. And so as I say, if your students do this, when they have poetry sessions here at Saturday Academy, so they're going to be helpful in guiding you through the process. So we're going to take about 10 minutes to give you an opportunity to write. And then what we do at the very end of each poetry session, if anybody feels comfortable and they want to come up and share, we give them that opportunity to share what they've been able to come up with during that particular poetry session. Does everybody understand? All right. So I'm really excited to see what you all are able to come up with. We're going to start in 10 minutes now. want to say three. Hopefully this microphone will treat you all better than it's been treating me. I apologize for the way that it's been cutting on and off. But one thing I want to mention really quickly about my family and understanding the importance of our family history. While we are the Black Archives of Mid-America, where I work, we really feel like it's our shared history. And I love the fact that Marsha and all of the faculty and student mentors here at Saturday Academy understand the importance of telling our stories. It's important for us to be culturally aware of not only who we are as it pertains to our ethnicity, but those we come into contact with and those who live in our community. So what's really interesting is that my grandmother, who I said is pictured right here, lived in Hartville, Missouri. Her and my grandfather started dating when they were in kindergarten. And at that time, my grandfather's mom taught school in Hartville, but the school that she taught at only went to the 6th grade. So my grandfather, when he was 16, purchased a mule and he rode to Lincoln Institute, which is now Lincoln University, a historically black college in Jefferson City. So at 16, he bought a mule, rode 150 miles from Hartville, Missouri to Jefferson City so that he could continue his education at Lincoln Institute, which had a high school, and then he went on to study education and became a teacher. But the summer after his first year at Lincoln Institute, he worked with various farms in the area, saved up enough money to send for my grandmother, who then came and joined them. And they spent 45 years together in wedded bliss. So anyway, our stories and the stories of our family are very important. And so we would like to hear some of your stories now through these poems. And I know it is really sometimes kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It makes us nervous to stand up in front of an audience, especially an audience that is this size. But we always tell the students, and they always oblige, we have to be a supportive audience, we have to be good listeners, we have to be respectful, and we want to treat people the way we want to be treated. So you all, if there's anyone who wants to share, you can just come up to the front and line up here. And everybody else, especially with a group this size, you have to agree to be a good audience. Can we agree to that? All right. Yeah? Can we agree to that? All right. So we got 1, 2. All right. So we'll have each student say their name. If there are any parents that wanted to share, I'm sorry I forgot to mention that. It doesn't have to be the student. It could be a parent or somebody else in your family or friends that you brought today. This is an open mic, so you're welcome to come up and share if you choose to. So remember, just say your name and then go ahead with your poem, all right?
My name is Isaiah Tyler. We are from Cold and Warm, from Door to Door. We are from Ocean Breeze. We are from Apple Tree and a Windy Freeze. We are from Christmas and Christmas Eve. We are from Chicken and Water with Good for Eats. And from managers and students. We are African American. We are from no home to no home. From accomplishments and greatness.
My name is Mia. We are from a small teal room, from my mommy's big cozy bed. We are from a cinnamon scented candle. We are from a dead pink flowers in the front yard. We are from a late night Christmas days. We are from freshly made tortillas. From police officers to roofers, we are from Comarco and Chihuahua. We are from discrimination, from a united family.
My name is Leslie Ponce Diaz, and here I go. We are from a balcony that embodies peace within social struggles. From the Virgencita decorations to the house bills on the living room table. We are from the hardcore kitchen filled with from poisonous smells of cooking chile. We are from the simulated sunflower fields looking for a better life. We are from parties filled with millions of family members who are excited for the piñata. We are from foods mounted with all kinds of spicy salsas. From high-level roofs that burn the skin of the roofers. We are from the apple trees within Cuauhtemoc, Chihuahua. We are from the roots of oppression for those who share a different skin color than the typical American. From a voice that shall be expressed and always will matter within society.
Hi, my name is Stacia Okosi. We are from living rooms and kitchens, from stovetops and ovens. We are from Mary Kay Lotion and Fresh Laundry. We are from Weeping Willows. We are from Nigerian dances and family get-togethers. We are from Chin Chin and Zobo and fried chicken. We are from physicists and doctors and singers. We are from Nigeria, Topeka, and Wyandotte. We are from slavery and discrimination, from business owners to our heritage. All right.
My name is Christian Yang, and I didn't exactly follow the poem, or the format. We are from A to Z, from having a career to elementary, from humble beginnings to vanity. We are all from the same family. But like Kanye said, who will survive in America with all these mass shootings and Muslim hysteria. All we do is post our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and then forget. We go back to our suburban barbecues with charcoal briquettes. Let's stop ignoring stuff like blatant racism and gun policies. I thought we lived in something called a democracy.
My name is Lanaya. We are from loud living rooms, from small kitchens filled with people. We are from smells of savory stews. We are from tall, worn-down cottonwoods. We are from gumbo on Christmas. We are from sweet, crispy cornbread, from school systems and soap dispensers. We are from unknown identities and mysterious ancestors. We are
Wyandotte County's best kept secret. Okay? And it's really not a secret anymore because we went from 60 students to over 200. And we're just going to keep growing.
There you go.
Okay? And it's going to take you guys to being a part of the program, spreading the word, telling your friends, say, hey, you don't have anything going on this Saturday. Come on and join us. Okay? Nothing going on in the summer? Come on and have a multicultural experience in the summer. So keep that in mind, guys. Let's give all of our presenters, teachers, staff, let's give them all a big round of applause here. And I would be in a lot of trouble if I did not acknowledge two very important people that are really, they're really the glue behind everything that happens in Academy. Our senior program director, Miss Ursula. Miss Ursula, you back there hiding? Okay, give her a big hand. She's back there hiding. Give her a big hand. And then also our program support. You probably see him around here taking some pictures and all that good stuff. Mr. Douglas Walker, give him a big hand. And again, our program director, Ms. Marsha Pomeroy, she always loves being a part of these and feeling the energy that comes with it. So, definitely, I appreciate what you guys have done today, and she's definitely feeling it, and it's definitely going to help her improve her health and everything. So, again, I really appreciate parents, guests, that you guys coming out today. We will have a closing ceremony in April. I forget the date on that, but we'll get you information as we get closer to that, and then we'll finish up Academy. High school students, applications will be coming out for summer programs, so if you're interested in that, we'd love to have you, okay? And then the final thing, students, we still have Academy for the rest of the day, so when your parents leave, you don't. Okay? So parents, you still got a couple more hours to enjoy the day, have some fun, all that good stuff. So, but no, thank you, parents and guests, have a great day. Students, you guys sit tight. Should be ready to have lunch here pretty soon.